Good morning, Commissioners, Fire Chief Terrazas, City Attorney, Ms. Iniguez, Eric Scott, Fire Captain, Paramedic, and Public Information Officer. We are fortunate to have two presentations today, and the first person being recognized was critically instrumental in generating millions of dollars for our department. And so we would like to ask Fire Stat Manager Drew Steinberg to please stand near the podium. And she's being honored for her involvement in the Los Angeles Fire Department obtaining a $15.4 million federal grant that allowed us to fortify our resources at 4 busy fire stations. And she was critically instrumental in that. And so first we'll give a little background. In 2011, due to budgetary constraints, 11 engine companies and 7 light forces were cut. That's a total of 270 firefighters. However, it had been Fire Chief Terrazas as well as Mayor Garcetti and UFLAC's mission to restore our critically diminished personnel. So in an effort to do so, the department applied over a dozen times for this grant. It's a Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response, or known as the SAFER grant. It's awarded by FEMA. However, each of those dozen times to no avail. That is until we unleashed Drew Steinberg on them. Now, she spearheaded this effort, utilized resources available through Fire Stat. She collaborated with IAFF and UFLAC, along with compiling an accurate statistical analysis of our department's needs, all to generate a superior grant. And the awarded $15 million then allowed us to hire critically needed additional recruit class in 2018. And that recruit class then created the additional personnel that was necessary to staff those 4 new fire engines. And those went into service in July of 2018. We went to Echo Park at Fire Station 20, Lincoln Hearts at Station 1, Reseda at 73, and Mission Hills at 75s. So we thank you, Drew, for jumping in with both feet when asked to write this important grant. And because of your initiative, the LAFD received the largest SAFER grant in the nation in 2017.
Chief Everett. I liked what Captain Scott had to say. We unleashed Drew Steinberg on FEMA. And, you know, those that know Drew know what that means. She's smart, she's tenacious. She worked closely with myself and IAF 10th District Vice President Lima, UFLAC President Gamboa, the mayor's office. And it's not only, it's not like a one-page application. It's a thick packet. And once you submit it, you don't hear for several weeks. And if you hear nothing, you didn't get it. So, but when they start asking questions about clarification on data, we were engaged through that whole process, and Drew was on point. We had meetings regularly, and at one point she was on maternity leave. Remember that, Drew?
Yes, I do.
We'd had conference calls.
She probably does.
And I know you're having a baby, but I got some questions, and she had all the answers. So I was so happy when we made that announcement at Dodger Stadium in July. We had the 4 engines with the backdrop, 4 brand new Pierce engines. So happy to see Drew and Fire Stat there so they could see what the efforts led to. And after that, we wanted to do something special for Drew, and that's what we're doing here today. We have, in addition to our normal certificate, we do have a floral arrangement. I'll let Chief Everett share the significance of that and let him say a few words. So Chief Everett.
Thank you, sir. Drew and I go back to when I started as the Chief of Staff. She worked in the Mayor's office, and she was our contact with the Mayor's Office of Public Safety. So she's been in and around the department even prior to that as an intern, and then And then we were fortunate to get her here as our fire stand manager. The roses that Drew has, there's 15 roses, they're all worth $1 million each. So each rose represents $1 million that she brought to the department. So we're just going to keep adding to that as she continues on next year's grant. And we'll have to get a bigger box. But I'd like to have Drew say a few words. I do want to recognize, too, I wasn't able to keep it a secret from her that she would be here. However, we were able to keep it a secret from her that her husband would be here. So Jesse Aguayo is with us today, and that part was a surprise for her. So without further ado, Drew, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much for the recognition. It was really a great team effort. I can't take credit for everything. I don't know, I can't thank everybody enough. I'm glad the department was able to be successful in this grant. I hope that we're successful with this upcoming grant that we're pending on and for future ones as well. So thanks, everyone.